water conservation and soil conservation is very important for us. So we have been able to support 216 watershed development projects, and 2 climate change adaptation projects also have been supported with grant assistance of 20 crores. Microfinance and livelihood support, we have been feeling that there is lack of market connect to the desired extent, and in this regard we were able to organize 3 large-scale exhibitions, one at Vijayawada, another one at Kadapa, and one at Hon'ble. NABARD has made significant contributions through skill development programs for rural youth and entrepreneurs, promoting rural innovations, facilitating market support through rural hearts and rural minds. Financial inclusion is the developmental agenda of the government also, and in this regard we have been able to support under the dedicated fund called Financial Inclusion Fund, which is amply supported and guided by the Reserve Bank of India. We have disbursed 58 crores since 2015 in AP under this fund for various activities covering digital literacy programs numbering 5 lakh programs, and also the establishment of 65 financial literacy centers, 58 mobile ATM demonstration vans for all the DCCBs and RRBs, purchase of more than 5,000 micro ATMs for anytime, anywhere banking, and also onboarding of the bank branches on the BEAM UPA platform and public financial management system portal. Institution development for cooperative banks and RRBs is one of the most important agendas that NABARD has under the developmental area. We have been playing a very important facilitation role as far as implementation of core banking system in RRBs and cooperative banks is concerned, to enable them to participate in the interbanking payment system and also to provide anytime, anywhere banking. All the RRBs and cooperative banks in the state provide NEFT, RTGS, DBT, NAC and SMS alert facilities. And also all RRBs have ATM tie-up facilities for their customers and are issuing RuPay debit cards and RuPay credit cards as Kisan credit cards. As part of the institution development program, the revival of cooperatives is a major focus area of NABARD with the central sector scheme for computerization of PACs, and I am thankful to the Corporation Department for their very enthusiastic and inspirational role in taking up this PACs computerization in a very big way by covering more than 2,037 PACs under this scheme, and NABARD has also extended the support for setting up PACs development cells in all the DCCBs. Before I conclude, I would like to highlight certain key areas where the NABARD, the state government and other stakeholders can work in synergy to accelerate the growth momentum of the state in a sustainable manner. One is the infrastructure creation and capital formation. We are geared up to support the post-harvest agriculture infrastructure through Raitu Bharosa Kendras, upgradation of Raitu Bazaars, modernization of dairies, Manabadi Nadu Nedu, Anganwadi centers, micro irrigation, roads, health infrastructure, etc. It may be mentioned here that NABARD has been aligning with the state government's priorities and supported the state government in upgrading the infrastructure facilities in more than 23,000 government schools and 10 medical colleges and 5 ITDA multi-speciality hospitals during the last 3 years. We need to give thrust on value chain financing, and I think it's time for banks to come forward and make a very drastic change from the production-oriented system of lending to value chain financing. And that would include the food processing also, which would entail a better return to the farmers who toil hard in the hot sun. Use of IoT and technology in agricultural practices needs to be given thrust, and in this regard, agri startups have to be encouraged in a big way, and we are already having certain agri incubation centers also running in different centers across the country. But I think it's time for having one such center in the state of Andhra Pradesh also, with the support of NABARD. Promotion of integrated farming, crop diversification, protected cultivation, agroforestry, climate smart agriculture and livestock farming to provide livelihood or income opportunities to the farmers. We have to make the FPOs sustainable by proper handholding and capacity building of the FPOs that have already been set up in the state. And in this regard, we have to rope in the technical support agencies in a very big way. Technology-driven e-commerce is also required to help micro-business clusters. Emphasis on financing tenant farmers through JLG mode is another area which could support the flow of credit to the marginalized people. Then we have to create organized fish markets in Mandal headquarters and establish fish harbors and fish landing centers in coastal area. If these thrust areas are taken up on a priority basis as outlined in this state focus paper, I think development would move at a faster pace in association with the Government of India priorities also, like digital public infrastructure for agriculture and promotion of millets and natural farming in the light of the International Year of Millets that is being celebrated this year. Together, let us resolve and work towards achieving the common objective of the development of the state. I am very grateful to the Honorable Chief Minister Garu for consenting to be part of this program, and also to the Honorable Minister Garu for coming and gracing our program and agreeing to release the state focus paper, which would follow soon after this welcome address. I once again express my thanks and gratitude to each one of you who has taken time out to come and be part of our journey in the field of agriculture and rural development. Thank you once again.
And again, on this occasion, we have request Honorable Minister Garu to release. And along with one DFABT brochure is there. So that
the 1 minute. No, okay, sir.
And dear banking colleagues, I would like to highlight only 3 areas of importance with respect to the state of Andhra Pradesh, because the focus that this state is given to these 3 sectors is not seen in other states in this current form. The first one is related to the Govardhan infrastructure that is coming up. A huge amount of money which was never invested in the rural areas is being done. In fact, works are going on, works are getting completed. So I request the bankers to come up with unique products to ensure that this space is being used at the rural areas. This is like, we should actually think out of the box. A lot of Govardhan space is being created. It can be primarily used by the farmers, but as you know, not even a square feet of this area should be kept idle at any point of time. So we should bring in other products. In fact, even organizations like those who are engaged in logistics can be linked, so that the space is used and the maximum income is earned by the farmers and their credit societies. So I request the bankers to bring out some kind of a unique products to use these spaces. The second is related to the dairy sector. As you know, we are in a crisis, the entire country. The milk production has come down drastically. In fact, after White Revolution, I attended a meeting last week. There is an emergency situation coming up where the demand of milk is much more than the supplies. So now government of India is thinking about importing milk fat, which was a 50-year-old scenario prior to White Revolution. So this is a area where we have to focus. As you know, this has to do with the productive animals that are going to come up, which has taken a back beating. But this state currently has put in a scenario multi-pronged. In fact, one is bringing in the best cooperative, companion that we could bring in, that is Amul, and bringing in, the collection centers at the villages so that the maximum price is being given. So farmers are getting even now 88 rupees per liter of milk, which was never dreamt of. In addition to that, Government of AP, with support of Government of India, has brought in I didn't find that mention in the PLP focus paper. I request NABARD to mention that too. Around 210 crore has been brought in under NPDD recently for this coming year. So the idea is to establish milk collection centers in all the 11,000 villages based on the RBK model. So this is an area where bankers can bring in, it's almost similar to SHGs. What is being done is that Mahila Dairy Sahakar Sanghal is being brought in, and the bankers who already funded these societies have a good experience. The recovery rate is 94%. The recovery of, because every once in 10 days they get the money back. The women societies are getting the money back for the milk being collected. So an area which has to be targeted, I request all of you to look into it and reform. I mean, I would say that this is the time you have to think out of the box in these areas. The next thing is, of course, there will be a lot of competition. Starting this year, more than 2,000 packs will be on the core banking system. So we will be having a bank branch essentially in every of this village. Again, there is a tie-up which has been done with the RBKs. The RBK packs integration has been formally brought in as an amendment in the FP Cooperative Societies Act, which will be implemented. So these bank branches, I will literally call them as bank branches, will expand the potential of banking in the rural areas. Over a period of 6-7 months, in the coming 6-7 months, you will get around 2,000 additional branches in the rural areas. Now I request the banking system, especially the cooperative credit banking system, to utilize this infrastructure that is coming up so that the ultimate objectives of banking reaches the last man out. So I wish all the very best in implementation of this plan that you have outlined for the next year to all the bankers. Thank you.
Minister, Sri Kakani Govardhan Reddy garu, CGM NABARD, Sri Gopal garu, Navneet ji, Chairman APGV, Bhaskar, Commissioner Medical Infrastructure, Murali Reddy garu, senior bank officers representing all important banks in the state and maybe the country. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I think many of the important critical issues related to development sector where the banking is playing a very important role has been highlighted by various speakers. I would not like to repeat those things. I'll just focus on one or two areas. Number one is when we are talking about the volume in terms of quantum jump in the credit to the agriculture sector and the priority sector, which includes allied activities and so many MSMEs and other things also. We also need to focus on the quality of credit. I personally, I've been in agriculture sector for now almost 7-8 years. Prior to that, I've worked in the RD sector also for about a decade. So I feel one of the important areas where we need to focus, and it is a joint responsibility of both the government and the bankers, because see, unless we improve the quality of credit, And when I say quality of credit, I'm sure all of you understand. I don't, because shortage of time, I do not like to go into detail. So that is one area which I want to flag, and I'm sure all of you appreciate that why it is essential. See, bankers has played a very, very important role in growth. But in the future times to come, see, our growth rate is going to increase. Coming to Andhra Pradesh, everybody is talking about Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh is one state which is so vibrant. And the most important resource in the state, I don't talk about natural resource, because it is the people of the Andhra Pradesh. See, you see the vibrancy of the people of Andhra Pradesh wherever they are. I have worked in the agriculture sector. You see the horticulture today we are talking about. You see the kind of initiatives which the farmers in this state have taken up. They have the risk-taking ability. They want to innovate. They want to create. And that is our, the potential. So Andhra Pradesh potential is unmatched. But anyway, other than the quality, some of the areas which already has been emphasized by the CGM, NABARD and the other speakers, one area which is currently the future is farmers producer organization. In fact, MD Dr. Srinath Reddy is here. We have been talking about in our cooperative sector that we should not miss. We should be the leader and we should be marching ahead in comparison to other banks, and let us not, because you see that has got such a huge, and that is one initiative or maybe the one model which also has the capacity and the potential to resolve many of the issues which we are facing in the farming sector, whether it is low productivity level or problems of post-harvest, pre-harvest, storage, marketing linkage. Many of these issues, I'm not saying that it is panacea for everything, but many of these issues can be resolved. So FPO, maybe when we started this microfinance self-help group, several hurdles were there, but all of you have done so excellent. And today the microfinance and the self-help group, women's self-help group is one which everybody talks about. So therefore, the similar kind of focus is required on FPO. There would be certain hurdles, obstacles. So what another request I would like to make is, the bankers also need to become facilitator. You need to also provide the hand-holding support. It's not only financing, but you need to become, what are the viable projects? How do we do it? My own experience, when we saw that the banking sector, the private companies, when we brought them, see, they came with new knowledge, which was not available to any one of us. And with that synergy which we were able to establish, the growth was unleashed. So therefore, when we talk about credit to the farming community, to the FPO, to the MSME, to the artisans, and various other, the community people, we need to also focus on this aspect, that we need to become a facilitator, not only a regulator, not only recovering. And I'm sure, based on my experience, and you have a very rich experience, your recovery will be 100% if you become a facilitator, instead of only purely thinking from the point of view of this credit delivery. Food processing is another area. I'm looking after food. I can tell you, last month I visited Anandpur, and some of the units which I visited, I could not believe myself. So that is one area. And again, because of shortage of time, I am not going into details where we are at the national level, state level, all those things. But one thing I'd like to just emphasize, that Andhra Pradesh has got the largest number of food processing unit in the unorganized sector. And we are contributing almost 15% to the national growth in the food processing sector. So this is one area where we are implementing PMFME. We have been talking to many of the banker friends. My request would be, if we are able to expedite, we can get more money from the government of India, and this sector, which is currently at a very low base, very low level, it can really contribute to the growth of the state, and definitely whatever other areas or issues are there concerning the agriculture, horticulture and allied sector, that can be taken care of. Horticulture sector, a lot of people have talked about. See, I am passionate about horticulture, and horticulture sector is, again, the growth potential is unlimited. Our farmers have done wonderfully well. But then area where we lack is post-harvest infrastructure, the processing. Most of the processing today is primary, and that also we are very low level. So my request would be, let us start focusing on some of these quality inputs, quality intervention, which is going to transform the sector instead of traditional things. Traditional things anyway, we need to continue with the same kind of focus, but we need to change the track to a bit. Aqua, nobody needs to talk about Andhra Pradesh. You can do anything, but there again, the secondary and tertiary processing is very limited. Our products are still either raw, fresh, or primary processed. So if you can move towards value addition, and most of these things have been highlighted in the presentations. I think this is almost looking like a Bible. Say, all conceptual things are there. So if these conceptual things are translated into reality, into action, anything can happen. And beyond that, just as I said, some of the things which are mentioned here, I would like to just point one, like skill upgradation, availability of affordable and timely credit, which I was referring to the quality, agro processing and value chain, post-harvest management. So many of these things have been captured. You have done a wonderful job in the past till today. Government of Andhra Pradesh conveys its gratitude to all the bankers that you have contributed toward the growth of the state, but then potentially so much that still a lot of gaps are there and a lot of areas to be filled. So I'm sure all of us will live up to the expectation of the government and the more so the community, the people of the state. And we'll be facilitating in ushering them into the process of development and bringing them to a level from where they'll be able to do everything at the global level. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I convey my best wishes for implementation of this state credit plan and the focus area which have been identified. Thank you.
And what is expected from the bankers and other departments? Thank you.
Principal Secretary to Government, Cooperation and Marketing, Sri Chiranjeevi Chaudhary Garu, and Mr. M.R. Gopal, CGM NABARD, Sri Babu, CCA and RCS, Sri Navaneet Kumar Garu, Convener SLBC, Jai Karan Garu, GM NABARD, and senior officials from State Government, Sri K. Bhaskar Garu, Commissioner School Education, and Sri Murali Reddy Garu, VC and MD, APMS IDC, Mr. Srinath Reddy, MD APCA, Chairman APGB, and officials of NABARD and senior officials from banking sector. My warm wishes to all. First of all, I congratulate NABARD for releasing the state focus paper for the financial year 2023-24, which has assessed credit potential of 2.86 lakhs crore. And coming to this, comparatively for 2023-24, this credit plan is an increase of 12 to 13% over the previous year. And undoubtedly, NABARD has been playing a catalytic role in augmenting the agricultural growth and rural development areas. Especially your special refinance scheme for primary agricultural credit societies and supporting of rural infrastructure creation through RFID, RADF, and support to AP Road Development Corporation for strengthening and widening of rural roads, and for supporting to AP Civil Supplies Corporation for paddy procurement operations. So coming to the agricultural sector, we are all aware our Hon'ble Chief Minister is giving utmost importance to the agriculture sector. Meeting the credit needs of agriculture and allied sector
is important for promoting agricultural development and improving farmers' income. Access to credit can improve infrastructure and expand production. This is in turn can lead to increased agricultural productivity, higher crop yields, and ultimately better livelihoods for farmers and rural communities. Today, NABARD has released the state focus paper for the financial year 2023-24 with credit potential of 2,86,000 lakh crores, 2,86,000 crores, and understood that the total agricultural credit potential of 1.82 lakh crore has been assessed, with 1.34 lakh crore for crop loans and 47,307 crore for agriculture and allied activities term loan. Take this opportunity to commend the efforts of NABARD in promotion of farmers collectives, that is FPOs. The farmer produce organizations have emerged as a sustainable business entities taking care of diverse needs of farmers. It is happy to know that NABARD has supported over 400 FPOs in the state by extending financial support, capacity building, and market linkages. NABARD support can help FPOs to become viable and sustainable, thereby contributing to overall development of the agriculture and rural sector. I urge banks to cater to the credit needs of the FPOs to enable them to invest in infrastructure, purchase inputs, and develop market linkages. The value chain augmentation has become a critical component of agricultural development. Higher value addition by improving processing, packaging, and branding can lead to higher prices and profitability for farmers. Banks may ponder over life cycle financing of agriculture and allied activities value chain for its holistic development. Need for capital formation in agriculture. Capital formation in agriculture is essential as it leads to better agri-infrastructure such as irrigation systems, storage facilities, and transportation networks. Investments in modern technologies will contribute to increased agricultural productivity. The banks should come forward to encourage their share of agri-term loans to facilitate sustainable agricultural infrastructure in the state. Further, the bank shall also consider extending financial support to agri-startups and agripreneurs to create a vibrant and innovative agronomy. To increase farm mechanization and farm power availability, our government is supporting for setting up custom hiring centers through RBKs. The custom hiring centers will enable the farmers to have access to modern equipment at affordable cost. AP is the largest producer of fish and shrimps in the country, but there exists huge potential for development of the sector, especially by value addition and export promotion. To capitalize on its marine reserves, the state government has expedited the work on 9 fishing harbors. In background of the emphasis of government of Andhra Pradesh on the development of fisheries sector, banks may support capital information in fisheries sector to credit linkage to support activities like setting up of fish processing units and promotion of export. I am sure all the banks and government departments will use this opportunity to have a consensus to meet the objectives of sustainable agriculture with credit support and acceleration of capital formation. I believe that the projected potential will immensely help in realizing the state government's vision and objective. Before I conclude, my sincere thanks to all officials of NABARD and special compliments to Mr. M.R. Gopal for releasing state focus paper for the year 2023-24. Thank you. Thank you all.
I request our Now I also request
రాష్ట్రానికి సంబంధించి 2023-24 ఆర్థిక సంవత్సరానికి నాబార్డ్ ఫోకస్ పేపర్ని ఈరోజు విడుదల చేయడం జరిగింది. సుమారు 2,86,000 కోట్ల రూపాయలతో ఈ ఫోకస్ పేపర్ని నాబార్డ్ తయారు చేయడం జరిగింది. ప్రధానంగా చూస్తే వ్యవసాయానికి సంబంధించి సుమారు 1,82,000 కోట్ల రూపాయల వరకు కేటాయించడానికి సంసిద్ధతను వ్యక్తం చేస్తూ 1,35,000 కోట్ల రూపాయలు పంట రుణాల కోసం, 47,307 కోట్ల రూపాయలు వ్యవసాయం దానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి అనుబంధ రంగాలకు సంబంధించి కేటాయించడం జరిగింది. నిజంగా సంతోషించాల్సినటువంటి విషయం. ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రానికి సంబంధించి అనేక విషయాల్లో నాబార్డు ముందుకు రావడం, ఆర్థికంగా ఈరోజు సహాయాన్ని అందించడం, దాని ద్వారా ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్ర అభివృద్ధిలో పరోక్షంగా ఈరోజు భాగస్వామ్యం కావడం అనేటువంటిది సంతోషించాల్సినటువంటి విషయం. ఈ సందర్భంగా నాబార్డుకి సంబంధించినటువంటి యాజమాన్యాన్ని, ప్రతినిధుల్ని, సీజీఎం గారిని హృదయపూర్వమైనటువంటి అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. తెలిసినటువంటి విషయం, రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు ప్రతి సందర్భంలో రైతు బాగుంటేనే రాష్ట్రం బాగుంటుంది అని చెప్పి విశ్వసించేటువంటి వ్యక్తి. దానికి సంబంధించి ఈరోజు గోడాముల నిర్మాణం కానీ, రైతు భరోసా కేంద్రాలకు సంబంధించి కానీ, వాటితో పాటు ఈరోజు అవసరమైనటువంటి కోల్డ్ స్టోరేజీలు కానీ, వీటన్నిటితో పాటు ఫార్మర్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ ఏదైతే రైతుకు గిట్టుబాటు ధర కల్పించాలనో దాదాపుగా 65% చిన్న సన్నకారు రైతులు. కాబట్టి చిన్న సన్నకారు రైతులకు సంబంధించి తక్కువ విస్తీర్ణంలో పండించుకునేటువంటి పొలాల్ని ఎవరో దళారులకు సంబంధించి అమ్ముకోవాల్సినటువంటి దుస్థితి ఏర్పడుతుంది. కాబట్టి ఫార్మర్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ని ఏర్పాటు చేసి వాళ్ళ ద్వారా చిన్న సన్నకారు రైతుల దగ్గర పండించినటువంటి ధాన్యాన్ని వాళ్ళ దగ్గర నుంచి సేకరించి మార్కెట్లో అధిక ధరలకి అమ్మేటువంటి విధంగా ఆలోచన చేస్తున్నాం. దాని ద్వారా రైతాంగానికి గిట్టుబాటు ధర కల్పించడానికి అన్ని రకాలైనటువంటి ప్రయత్నాలు జరుగుతున్నాయి. చాలా సంతోషం. ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు ఈరోజు పెట్టుబడుల సదస్సుని విశాఖపట్నంలో నిర్వహించడం, దాదాపుగా 13 లక్షల కోట్ల రూపాయలకు సంబంధించి ఒప్పందాలు కుదుర్చుకోవడం, దానిలో సుమారు 60,000 కోట్ల వరకు వ్యవసాయ రంగానికి సంబంధించి కూడా ఒప్పందాలు కుదుర్చుకోవడం జరిగింది. ప్రత్యేకించి ఈరోజు పంటలు పండించడంలో రైతులు అనేక రకాలైనటువంటి పరిశోధనలు చేస్తూ ఈరోజు పంటలు పండిస్తున్నారు. అనేక రకాలైనటువంటి పంటలు ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో రైతాంగం పండిస్తుంది. అన్ని విధాలా ప్రభుత్వం, ముఖ్యమంత్రి జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారు ఎల్లవేళలా అండగా నిలుస్తున్నారు. దాంతోపాటు వాల్యూ ఎడిషన్, ఎక్కడైతే ఫుడ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్ అనేటువంటిది స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో అక్కడ రైతులు పండించినటువంటి పంటలకు, ఆ ఉత్పత్తులకి అధిక ధర, గిట్టుబాటు ధర వచ్చేదానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి దాని మీద దృష్టి పెట్టి ఇప్పటికే ప్రైమరీ ప్రాసెసింగ్ సెంటర్స్ ప్రారంభించాం. దాదాపుకు కొన్ని పూర్తవుతున్నాయి. 25 పార్లమెంట్ నియోజకవర్గాల్లో 25 ఫుడ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ పెట్టాలనేటువంటి ఆలోచన ప్రభుత్వానికి ఉంది. వాటికి సంబంధించి కూడా కసరత్తు దాదాపుగా ఒక కొలిక్కి రావడం జరిగింది. తప్పనిసరిగా రాబోయేటువంటి రోజుల్లో ఫార్మర్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్కి సంబంధించి వాటిని బలోపేతం చేయడం, అదేవిధంగా వాల్యూ ఎడిషన్, ఫుడ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్ సెంటర్స్ ఎక్కడైతే అవసరమవుతుందో వాటిని నెలకొల్పడం, వీటన్నిటికి కూడా నాబార్డు ఇతోధికంగా ఈరోజు ఆర్థికంగా సంబంధించినటువంటి సౌకర్యాలు కల్పించాలని చెప్పి కోరాం. నాబార్డు కూడా ముందుకొచ్చి ఈరోజు వ్యవసాయం, అనుబంధ రంగాలకు సంబంధించి పెద్దపీట వేస్తూ అధిక మొత్తంలో ఈరోజు కేటాయింపులు చేసినందుకు నాబార్డ్ యాజమాన్యానికి మరొకసారి హృదయపూర్వకమైనటువంటి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, అందరం కలిసి ముఖ్యమంత్రి జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి గారి ఆశల, ఆకాంక్షల మేరకు రాష్ట్ర అభివృద్ధి, ప్రజలు, ముఖ్యంగా రైతుల సంక్షేమం కోసం తీవ్రంగా పాటుపడతామని చెప్పి ఈ సందర్భంగా తెలియజేస్తున్నాం.